been keeping real. I've been doing what I feel. I've been out here trying to kill every beat. I know I will. Everything I'm working on. Every night another song. They've been quiet all along. They gon' notice when I'm gone.
Too many thoughts on my mind, I can't sleep at night, so I just keep writing. I don't need no help, I don't need opinions, so don't waste my time then. Killing the game and I gotta go ask anybody, they all heard about it. They know when the kid and he's spitting it, know when he getting it, bit and I get in my way. Got this, I like do whatever I say, cause I could go put you on blast. People been mad at me cause I don't follow them back. I'm laughing cause that is so whack. Why they all trying to act like they been bossing when really their boss has been bossing them up? Nobody ever been telling me what I would do when I keep in the cash for the shit out of luck. I want it more, now I get what I wish. Upgrading now with some pants that I whip. Making 6 figures, don't talk about it. Money ain't shit, it's about how you think. Tired of people who making excuses, then they complain about losing. Tell me about what you been doing, tell me about how you been moving. You ain't got nothing to prove then. I did it all on my own, they looking like all of my clones. I don't be following trends, fuck all the popular clothes. You faking and everyone knows. I just be keeping it real, they thinking that I have to go sign a deal. But really the people just found an appeal. I'm in my own lane and I'm steering the wheel, ayy.
It's funny how it goes, funny how it goes. Working every night till the sunrise.
Welcome back once again. No false finish. Franchise player Chris Jones alongside none other than the virus nowadays, Fletch. And we are bringing to you Season 4, Episode 7.
I always get these low chairs. We went out to dinner after Hall of Fame, okay? Sidebar, before we get to the main course here. We went to dinner last night with Cynical after Hall of Fame, and I got stuck in this low-ass chair. Yeah. Everybody's around me, and I'm sitting this way down here looking up at everybody. Here I am again, sitting in this tiny chair looking up at you.
Well, the host always gets the belt chair. The guest gets to sit on Batista's face. All right, so we're piggybacking off the last time you seen us both here. We were getting real close to the ST1 tournament. And that's what we're going to talk about. ST1, July 15th, 2006. What do you remember about this time?
Well, the reason for the ST1, it's an interesting behind-the-scenes story. At the time, we had Psy-Core knock off Hazard at Cold Day in Hell 2006. And that was Psy-Core's first run as champion. And he was controlled by Nightmare at the time. They were the founding members of Tortured Souls. And so this was really our first ditch effort to get Psy-Core over and give him a new outlook in XCW, make him a main event player. And at the time, Hazard was having some injury issues with his ankles and stuff like that, some football injuries.
Yeah.
And so he was going to bow out of XCW. He was gonna take some time off, and so he retired at the time, and he was going to become the on-screen owner, and we were going to pull myself off of the storyline at the time and make him the on-screen owner, and it kind of worked because me and you just had our famous light tube thing. So some things went down with Psy-Core behind the scenes. He was having some issues, some substance issues. Yep. He had some demons, and he had a lot of things going on in his personal life at the time, and so his exit just kind of came at the same time that Hazard was transitioning into this owner role. And so on screen we had Hazard defunct the championship. He's going to strip Psy-Core of the title, and thus ST1 was born.
And kicking off ST1, we had none other than Sick Nick Cheney defeating Grim Reaper. What do you remember?
Well, this was very early in Sick Nick Cheney's career. Sick Nick Cheney debuted at Cold Day on Synovius. We were really trying to kickstart the Cruiserweight X Division at the time. We just fused the television and Cruiserweight Championships together and trying to create a new hybrid title. And we wanted Nick to be one of the faces of that brand. And we put him against a seasoned vet like Psycho Circus Clown to try to
take out all the top cruiserweights.
Right. He was going to knock off all the cruiserweights on his way to the victory on top, and he was going to have an extended feud with Dylan Bostic. So.
And we had a man we don't get to see very often next up in the Essential One, Rob Slater, going against the submission. I call him the sexcellence of submission. Genocide, an ultimate submission match. But ironically, Genocide would not be victorious here. Rob Slater would get the victory.
So the original plan, Genocide was just making his return.
Yeah.
So Rob Slater, and it's funny because this is technically Rob Slater's debut in XW, ironically. He debuted technically at Viewer's Choice 04. He was supposed to start with us in early 05. But between his relationship with him and Parsley and BYWE/UIW at the time, between that and then his issues that he had gained with Psycor, ultimately things did not happen at all. So 2006 rolls around and another opportunity comes for Rob Slater to come into the fold, and he's going after one of his biggest nemesis ever in Genocide. So it was the perfect mold for that.
And like I said, Rob Slater beating Genocide in his own match.
Yeah, interesting. I believe he beat him with a ankle lock.
That would surprise me. Third on the card, none other than myself as C-Unit Chris Jones facing against none other than the Monster Devil in a chain on a pole match. And Fago heavily involved in this match. What do you remember?
Well, the main thing here was we were trying to get Devil to that next level. As you know, Hazard was retired. He also played the Devil character, so this would be his primary character now.
Yeah.
So, as his primary character of Devil, his only on-screen wrestling role, we had the opportunity to kind of push Devil to that next level, and so he started working with none other than the biggest in the XW, and Chris Jones, and I believe this was your guys' second match, following Greed.
He beat me. Yep.
And obviously putting him with Fago was another big thing, trying to put him with a decently attractive female, and, trying to give him a different element, and we were just trying to see what sticks in this era, because there was a lot of transition in 06.
Well, to me, I would grab the chain, steal it from Fago after she was trying to prevent me from getting it, and walk out victorious. Next up, we had a first round bye due to the fact of the Dark Angel Nightmare beating the holy hell out of Lucifer.
So another interesting behind the scenes story. It was originally supposed to be a kendo stick, but a match. It didn't happen. DTC was originally playing the character Lucifer during his run in XCW. We had just brought in a brand new guy. You may know him as Billy Supernova. And Billy was just beginning with XCW at the time, and he really took a fascination with the Lucifer character. DTC was kind of in a transition out of XCW in a way. Yeah. So we came up with this idea. DTC was portraying Lucifer in this promo. He always wore the makeup and the wig and all these things, and so Nightmare scalped him, and then we were slowly transitioning it from being Daniel to Billy, and we were going to see that by Billy starting to wear less face paint. They scalped him, so now he's got short hair. So we were trying to have some moving parts too, and we were going to give him the Lucifer name and kind of strip him of what he was going to look like, and really change up the character with the same name.
And next up on the card, we had none other than the younger brother of Tommy the Man Merriman and the main attraction, Kyle Victim.
Yep.
And he is going up against Joker in what is the first and only 52 card pickup match. What do you remember?
So this was Kyle Victim's debut, and again, that us trying to push new talent and trying to reinvigorate XCW a little bit. This was one of those last ditch efforts to get some new faces on the card. Initially, Tommy Merriman was supposed to begin with XCW, and January of 06 at Cold Day and Hell.
He was supposed to be the
special referee with me and you. Things didn't pan out. Tommy had his legal troubles and his wishy-washy in and out, whatever. Yep. But in his place was his little brother that kind of felt bad that Tommy put us in such a predicament. Yep. And thus, he would begin training and Kyle Victim was born. And he was greener than goose shit. So the best thing you could do at that point is throw him in a hooded character with a guy named Chris Jones to help him get to that next point. And don't know where the 52 card pickup thing came from other than it being Joker. Yeah. It didn't work, and that's why it's the only time it's ever happened.
Next up, we had Zero beating Eternal Darkness very, very quickly.
Yes. And it was a gore, and
it was a camel clutch.
Yeah.
And he wrenched back so hard, you heard Genocide. The turtle, I quit.
So funny. Oh my god. I'm going to go back and watch that just because that's so funny.
Hey, get to it.
I quit.
He said I quit.
I quit.
Yeah, again, we were trying to change some things up on the card, and Zero had a completely different presentation in this era. He was coming off of, being with MPG and being in Shelbyville Heat, and now we're kind of breaking him out on his own once again. And so we're trying to again see what sticks, and trying to see what stuck with Zero, and trying to give him that next nod and make him a viable main event star.
All right, with that, we're going to go to our first commercial break, and when we come back, we'll be talking about LOL going up against Psycho Circus Clown. More when we come back.
Till the day I die, I came to win. Everything I got, I'm all in. All in. All in. Go big or go home, I'm setting the tone, I'm letting them know. I'm playing the game, ain't playing it safe, I'm raising the stakes. From nothing to something, I'm rising above it. From nothing to something is all that I wanted, I'm all in. Till the day I die, I came to win. Everything I got, I'm all in. Gonna let it ride, double down again. It's a way of life, I'm all in. Anytime, any place, any night, any day, I'm stepping out to the plate. Till the day I die, I play to win. Till the day I die, I'm all in. I'm all in. I'm all in. Open the gold, history shows, gotta be bold. All in. Trusting my gut, pushing my luck, it's all in the touch. All in. From nothing to something, I'm rising above it. From nothing to something, but fuck it, I love it, I'm all in. Till the day I die, I came to win. Everything I got, I'm all in. Gonna let it ride, double down again. It's a way of life, I'm all in. Anytime, any place, any night, any day, I'm stepping up to the plate. Till the day I die, I play to win. Till the day I die, I'm all in. I'm all in. I'm all in. Till the day I die.
Rob Slater. Oh yeah, he's the essential one. It's genocide. Oh, genocide down.
My ass cheeks and lick my brown eye.
What's he gonna do? Is he gonna give?
And Rob Slater. Oh, is he gonna reverse it on? Oh, and
Oh my god!
tornado DDT.
Oh! Oh! Oh my god! One.
Two.
There's two.
And three. It's over.
Ring the bell!
And we're back, and we're going to talk about LOL and Psycho Circus Clown, like I mentioned right before that commercial break. And LOL defeating the Exhibit Legend Psycho Circus Clown in none other than a blindfold match.
Yeah. Don't remember much of this one.
Which is ironic because I played both characters at the time, so somebody was filling in a Psycho.
It would have been Dylan. Dylan was Psycho at the time.
Well, like we said, LOL becoming victorious against Psycho Circus Clown, leading. There was a promo either before or after this match, I believe, and I think if LOL beat Psycho Circus Clown, LOL got to pick Blade Jr.'s opponent.
Because LOL and Dylan Bostic were in the middle of their heated feud,
Yes.
coming off Greed. They main evented.
This show too.
Yeah.
May have been Greed and this show. And LOL would pick none other than his own good buddy, along with Grim Reaper, Smoke Buddy Jr. So we had Blade Jr.
To put this in context, ladies and gentlemen, this is a plastic snowman.
A
about
baby
this big.
plastic snowman.
Yes. Yeah.
So we had a big plastic snowman, which was Smoke Buddy.
Yeah, and then Reaper accidentally drowned it.
Yeah. Sad day. The first and only finisher-only match, Blade Jr. going up against Smoke Buddy Jr. Blade Jr. barely squeaking by with a victory over this plastic snowman.
You're right. You know, if anybody could wrestle an inanimate object and make it look absolutely believable, it was Dylan, especially in this era, because, my God. He just... I remember him giving him the snowman a double foot stomp and ripping his nose off. I remember Smoke Buddy had one of, like, he came out to, like, the hardest Nickelback song ever made. Jeez, OP, what the fuck is wrong with us?
He gave the Blade Jr. a drop salt.
Yep, drop salt was his finishing move, and I don't know why Smoke Buddy Jr. got screwed, because he should have won the match, but
I agree.
Yeah, bad call on our part. Dylan should have lost to the damn snowman.
Next up, after that very interesting and funny match, we had, once again, everybody pulling double duty this show. We had the Essential One, Rob Slater, in his second match of the night, beating the newcomer, Sick Nick Cheney, in a last man standing match.
Yeah, it was the Battle of the Fire Crotch. It was just kind of how things fell within the tournament. It's kind of why that happened. Obviously, somebody's got to lose. Rob Slater is the bigger star of the two. And Nick's focus was on the cruiserweight, so it was okay that he could take the L against somebody who of a stature of like a Genocide or Rob Slater. So we knew that we wanted to give Rob Slater a big rub right off the bat. He was a major star, a viable star.
Yep.
In the other companies that he had been a part of. And we wanted to make him a major player, and he was getting ready to begin a huge rivalry with Genocide for the international title. So,
which cracks me up. I got a story about the Rob Slater Genocide.
Okay.
There's an instance where we were in James Thunderfist Keen's house, and I know you're going to remember this once I say it, but Genocide, myself, and Rob Slater were going over their match because they wanted some ideas. I was throwing stuff at them. And then...
this would have been for their ladder match at a farewell show, correct?
And then Genocide said, the loser of the match has to suck the winner's dick. And Genocide was like, he wins. I don't think Genocide ever sucked Rob Slater's dick, but there was a rumor about a porno once. You can find out all about that in the episode with Justin Parsons.
Yeah, season 2, episode 1.
But Rob Slater beating the newcomer, Sick Nick Cheney. Moving on to round 3. Next up, myself in my second match of the evening, C-Unit Chris Jones, and I believe the first matchup with the Dark Angel Nightmare in a loser leaves town match. I would walk out victorious. Well, I guess technically Nightmare kind of walked out, but
yeah, I think the without Psy-Core being there, Nightmare lost a little luster.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole point of Psy-Core and Nightmare joining up was so that Nightmare could have some kind of control. The whole backstory behind Nightmare was that he came into XCW in 2003. He won every championship. He never lost any of these championships. He would forfeit the championship for an opportunity to face the next champion.
Yeah.
And he did that all the way through 2003. And ultimately, once he got to the world title match against myself, then a genocide would attack Nightmare, strip him of his mask. He would come out as Nightmare in the match, face me, and then ultimately that's how the beginning of 2004 started.
Yep.
Myself and Genocide in a feud for the title, and then Nightmare would disappear until Halloween Havoc 04. So Nightmare, then got another opportunity at the Exhibition Championship against Vapor. Then enters Devil.
Yep.
It's like he always got screwed in some way, shape, or form. So then the whole plan was he was going to make his own protege, Psycor, to win the championship, bring it to Tortured Souls, and ultimately the plan was Nightmare was going to somehow become champion by Psycor winning the title for him.
Yeah.
It was going to kind of end up in a Nightmare Psycor title feud.
Yeah.
Ultimately, that didn't happen with Psycor's exit. So at the time, we just had nothing for Nightmare. So he needed to go away and learn a new hold. And then ultimately, Nightmare would return, and we would just go ahead and pair him with Devil instead. And then they would become Tortured Souls together. And that's when we did the... I don't know if you remember this. We had Nightmare and Devil, how we joined them together. We pretty much copied the Snitsky Heidreich promo, where I like your poems. And then the other one was like, I like what you do to babies. And that was kind of how we did the Nightmare Devil combination thing.
It's good shit. Next up, probably not one of the better matches of the tournament.
There wasn't very many of those anyway.
We had Zero facing off against the main attraction, Kyle Victim.
First Blood, right?
And a First Blood match.
Yeah.
And Zero would walk out victorious.
Yeah, hit him with stop sign.
Yeah.
I think it was obviously a different XCW. This was Extreme, and so we kind of wanted to use this match as an opportunity to be like, hey, Kyle Victor, welcome to XCW, and so just kind of, kind of toughen Kyle Victor up, getting him ready for what was going to be, it ended up being a very short career in XCW, so.
Next up, the main event of the night. Not the end of the tournament, but the main event of the night would be none other than Cruiserweights main eventing the second big show in a row. You would have Blade Jr. facing off against LOL in a table match with Blade Jr. walking out victorious.
Yeah, obviously this was, a continuation of the dog collar chain match that we've seen at Greed. Of these two really trying to put over the Cruiserweight Championship. So we were kind of setting this up really nice to have our two finals after the semifinal and then the final. So we were setting it up, and that was going to be the next show, and it was going to culminate with SummerMania.
Yeah.
So that was the ultimate goal. Was all right. We'll get to this point to get obviously the championship match with the final two, which would end up being you and Dylan Bostic as the final, and SummerMania 4. SummerMania 4. So that was the end goal. So we were really trying to push the cruiserweights at the time, so it just made sense to put them on last and drive it home before the World Championship would then once again come into fruition and take over that top spot.
And not only would that match be one of the best Cruiserweight matches of all time, probably one of the best XCW matches too. Probably top 20.
Yeah, it was definitely the best match that Dylan Bostic ever had in XCW.
And the match would end with the cradle shot through the table. And the funny thing about this is, when I was up on Dylan Bostic's shoulders as we're standing on this table, I know I'm about to die. I look out in the audience, and your stepdad John's just waving at me. I'm getting ready to die. Then boom, through a table, Dylan Bostic victorious. And the rest of these matches would not be televised, but we would have myself, seeing it, Chris Jones, going up against the essential one, Rob Slater, and what some would say would be the battle of the RKOs. with myself beating him in this 15-minute Ironman match.
The point of this match was the fact that you guys had a huge history in BYWE, and the driving force behind this was Rob Slater's trying to make a name for himself for the first time in XCW. Now he's going against, before we even knew it, the franchise player, Chris Jones, and Rob Slater had never beaten Chris Jones. That was our selling point.
Still has. In XCW. Like I said, I would be victorious in this match and move on to the finals. The next semifinals would be my compadre in Shelbyville Heat and Zero facing off against Blade Jr., Dylan Bostic, and another 15-minute Ironman match with Blade Jr. beating Zero, walking out victorious.
A lot of this match had to come with Zero's trying to, shed himself of his former Zero. And that would come from Shelbyville Heat. Shelbyville Heat's closely associated with New Power Generation, and pretty much the unspoken leader of New Power Generation at the time would have been Dylan Bostic. So it kind of culminated with, he kind of finally shed himself of being under the burden of the Chris Joneses and the Dylan Bostics and the Vapors of New Power Generation. He break out of the shell, and what a better way to do that than to try to defeat Dylan Bostic.
He failed.
He did.
And that would lead to what would
SummerMania 4
have been one of the best matches I could probably say I could have had because I've worked really well with him. It'd be Blade Jr.
Your third SummerMania.
Blade Jr. facing off against Cena Chris Jones in what would have been a street fight.
Mm-hmm. And obviously trying to give the big rub to, that's unheard of. Our Cruiserweight champion is going toe-to-toe with Chris Jones, and the XW title's on the line as compared to, his Cruiserweight championship. So it was a big deal, and it was really setting up Dylan nice. We thought for what was a big push, but it was pretty much just a boot out the door.
Very short-lived.
But we also knew at the end of the ST4 or ST1 at SummerMania 4, it was going to soon be the return of Fletch as Nemesis, and the Fletch and Nemesis saga would then begin. Ultimately, that none of those things happened.
It makes me, every time we just talk about just you not coming back as Nemesis and us giving that character to somebody else, it hurts my soul.
Yeah.
But at the end of it,
the whole point was for Nemesis to be bullied and have this dark persona, not have an extra chromosome. But shit happens.
And you had the gear and everything already made.
I did.
You were ready for it.
I did, yeah.
Ultimately,
I even had a buzz cut, remember? I
did.
I cut my hair real short, and I didn't have bangs or nothing. Like, I completely changed my entire look.
You should do it again.
No.
Why not?
No.
Ultimately, at the end of this match, I would beat Dylan Bostic. Mm-hmm. And I would or should be crowned the world champion. Would you like to give a little tidbit as why I was not crowned the world champion and what would happen?
So it would be a technicality. Hazard is the heel owner of XCW. He doesn't like Chris Jones, and now he's trying to build this new breed faction. He wants to rid XCW of all the old timers.
Yep.
And so he wanted to bring in Fletch as Nemesis as a whole new outlook. And then you've got the Kyle Victims, you got the Benjamin Banks, you've got the Kyle Victims and Nick Cheney's and Wet Dream, and all these guys that are coming in. It's like a whole new XCW, and there's that one thorn in his side, and that was Chris Jones. So he was creating this brand new, new breed stable to ruin Chris Jones' career, and this is the first of many 6, 7, 8, 9, 20 times he screwed you out of the titles between 06 to 08 that would ultimately lead to you guys facing each other at SummerMania 5 in a heater.
Ultimately, you would need to know calculus to figure out how many times Hazard screwed me out of the fucking championship.
Yeah, it was a lot. And that would eventually lead to myself returning and me and you facing one-on-one in a trunk match.
Which at that point I had never won one.
To crown an XCW champion.
And you would walk out victorious. Going into like this era, like what really stands out? What do you think the standouts of this era was?
It was the shits. And it was, I mean, rightfully so. We had a lot of new faces. We didn't have a lot of the long tenured stars at the time. You know, we had you and we had Cynical, but Hazard was on the outside looking in with his injuries, and storyline wise, it was best to try to pull me out of the equation. And even though Rob Slater was a vet, he's coming into a completely different territory here in XCW, so a lot of things, like, is a lot of building and a lot of repackaging and, a lot of things to change XCW from what it was before that, because XCW got stale.
Yep.
In the end of 05, we were just creating titles like television titles just because we're like, oh, Dark Slayer's here, so let's give him a belt, and like, it just, it got really watered down, and it was a constant revolving door with guys like the Void 56 members and Team 2 Extreme guys, and we really wanted to find a very stable roster, and we really didn't get that until 08, 09, when we started getting a really stable roster, and it started, keeping up with looking and feeling like ACW again.
All right, one of my favorite parts of the show. Play Dave Meltzer. Out of 5 stars, what do you rank the entire ST1 in general, up until the point to where I would win, not including when you would actually win the belt? I would say probably 2.5.
I'd say about 2. Yeah,
because we had
the matches were not great.
The semifinals and the finals weren't recorded.
Yeah, there was no in game for the viewers. The matches weren't great. We were in a big building process. We had a lot of newer guys. And,
in the field behind Mobile Home Villa.
Yeah, we had a bad location. I mean, I think the best part of all of it was probably having Fega.
Yeah.
And a good last run for Dylan Bostic, even though we didn't know it was the last run. So.
She was the first and original XCW ring rat, I guess.
Yeah. As long as I got to see that kitty, which you did. That was all that mattered.
And titties.
Yeah, I did.
Pointers.
Yep.
So, Season 4 winding down. You and I both know who the guest is for episode 10.
Mm-hmm.
So, as we close this episode, I am going to give the viewers a little hint.
Okay.
So, when we come back for episode 8, we got a little something special for you. It's like the special guest for 10, but we got something special happening, so join us.
Too many thoughts on my mind, I can't sleep at night, so I just keep writing. I don't need no help, I don't need opinions, so don't waste my time then. Killing the game and I gotta go ask anybody, they all heard about it. They know when the kid and he's spitting, they know when he get in it, bed and I get in my way. Got this, I like do whatever I say, cause I could go put you on blast. People been mad at me cause I don't follow them back. I'm laughing cause that is so whack. Why they all trying to act like they been bossing when really their boss has been bossing them up? Nobody ever been telling me what I would do when I keep in the cash, right the shit out of luck. Ayy. It's funny how it goes, funny how it goes. Talking about shit they don't even know. Why they tryna tell me about what I should do? They don't know about the shit I've been through. It ain't what it seems, it ain't what it seems. Been 4 years, I've been chasing dreams. This ain't overnight, this ain't overnight. Working every night till the sunrise.